It's time now for Anderson Speedway's Track Talk. Catch up with everything that's going on at Anderson Speedway with Rick Dawson and Gary Mong.
Good evening. Welcome to Track Talk. Rick Dawson, Gary Mong, and the special guest in the studio tonight from Denver, Colorado.
Actually, live in person.
Yes, from Broomfield, Colorado, so we didn't have to pay the long-distance charges on the telephone tonight. R.J. Scott's here with us. Welcome to the Arctic.
Well, happy to be here. It's actually much warmer than it was this time last year.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
We are here for the next half hour to talk a little bit about racing. We got somebody in here tonight for a change that's intelligent in that field. So listeners are in for a treat tonight. You're going to hear some real racing information.
I think I'm going to cry. That may
I
be
guess I'm going to leave.
That may be the nicest thing he's ever said about me.
Might be the only thing.
It has on this station.
Yeah. I hope your little spy's listening tonight.
You knew where I was coming from.
Yes, that was awesome.
That must be why he's here. His spies are on vacation.
Absolutely.
We this is a big day for us as far as 2015. This afternoon we released our 2015 schedule.
Great.
And,
I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
It is pretty much, well, so you did a lot of show prep then is what you're telling me, always?
I was working today, so I was on the road all day.
Yeah. This is work too, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. We
You're trying to get back at me now, aren't you?
We've been working really hard on this, and this year, you know, every year this time of year, you're optimistic and you feel like everything's going well. And I tell you, this year is no exception. I'm really excited about 2015. 2014 was a great year, and we've talked about that in the past. In 2015, the schedule, actually working on the schedule this year, it is a difficult process, trust me, especially at a track like ours where we vary the shows and we involve several sanctioning bodies.
Yep.
But this year, on top of that, and the sanctioning bodies have come around. They're a lot. They get it. They're into putting on the show for the fans, and they understand the financial end of it, and really are working close with us this year. Some of them have in the past. Some of them are, you know, you get sanctioning bodies every year that pop up.
Right.
Usually with frustrated racers, they decide they can do it better themselves, so they start a series and don't know the ins and out of it. But there's a lot to being a sanctioning body, and we'll get a little bit of that insight here in a few minutes. But this year, in addition to the sanctioning bodies, I was able to work with a couple of racetracks also that in the past, you know, I've tried to work with, and it hasn't for whatever reasons worked out. But with regard to figure eight cars, I've had several conversations and meetings with the Speedrome, Larry Curry and Jeff and Pete, the new owners down there, and we have a very good rapport. We have a different show, so we compete, but we don't.
Yes.
But there are, you know, we do run the Outlaw figure eights. That's their staple, and we don't want to take away from each other. In fact, it helps to promote each other's shows. So we accomplished that. New general manager, well, I guess he's not new. He's been there about a year, hasn't he?
Yeah,
RJ?
that's correct.
Rob Simmons.
Randy Simpson.
Randy Simpson.
Bill Smitherman.
Rob Simmons is the publisher
Smith.
of the Newcastle Great Deals.
That's right.
Randy Simpson down at Lucas Oil Raceway. They're going to be doing something a little different next year, which is good for racing and race fans, and worked with him on some things. And in an indirect way, I've worked with Jeffersonville. They run Outlaw figure eights.
Right.
And of course, Winchester, you know, we kind of compliment. We've kind of got that down to an art now. There's not a whole lot of talking to do.
They don't put a lot of requests in.
No, they don't do a whole lot over there, but they do have 3 great weekends. So we have released our schedule, and it's pretty neat, and there's a lot of emphasis on our Anderson Speedway divisions this year. We have, and I didn't bring the right sheet that's got the totals, but I think we have 15 late model races this year with the mechanical engines. We have 15 street stock races. I believe there are 15 Hart's Auto Service figure eight races. I think there's 18 Markham Welding Pro Compact
races. Wow. Didn't know the name.
There are 11 Thunder Roadster races, and that's just our regular divisions.
That's great.
So the guys and the fans have asked for more, especially the late models and the street stocks. Our late model division is with McGonigal engines as our
it grew this year.
Is growing and continues to grow. I talked to Jack Neal yesterday, and actually one of our Pro Compact guys from last year bought a late model day before yesterday.
So who was that?
His name is Adam Lee.
All right.
So 1, 2, 3 car. Good young man.
Yes,
I like to tease him a lot. He was over at the parade in Newcastle. Right. Made some comment about his car going. That's the fastest I'd seen his car run all year.
Way to go.
He's a good young man, and that's just another one of the several new late model drivers we're going to have next year. Some of the highlights, and a few of them we've talked about it, but we're going to open the season on March the 28th, the last weekend in March as always, with the WOFS figure eights, our regular Hart's service auto service. I got to get used to that. Hart's Auto Service, HAS
the Has
figure eights and legend cars. That's after we have 2 weekends of practice before that.
Right.
And then we come back. It's almost every other week. The little 500, the Redbud, kind of changes it a little, but it's almost every other week, late models and street stocks. We've got one of the two will be the premier divisions on any given night. We've got the Kenya Midgets coming in, I believe, 5 times this year.
Oh, great. They put on a good show.
One of the big nights that I'm really looking forward to, and there's going to be a lot of interest around this, is on, and RJ, you can chime in here on this. We're doing something a little different this year. On April the 25th, we're only having the...
Before you go any further, I was in Pensacola, and somebody stopped me and said, Rick's got a mistake on his schedule. I go, well, what is it? They go, he's got sprint cars and late models on the same night. And I go, not a mistake this year.
It's a pretty big night. We've got the USSA sprint cars with the Glen Nibel Classic, a historical event at the Speedway, 100 laps for the Outlaw, or not the Outlaw, but for the
regular sprint cars,
the non-wing sprint cars, the little 500 cars. And we also have a CRA Super Series late model race that night. I think it's going to be a huge night for the fans.
It absolutely is. And when this person I was talking to, when I said, no, it wasn't a typo, that's correct. That's like a light bulb went on above his head, and he goes, well, that's going to be an awesome show. I go, well, that's the idea behind it. You know, you're going to pack the place, have a lot of energy. Sprint car fans are going to get to see some great late model racing. Late model fans are going to get to see some great sprint car racing.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds. And if you're a racing fan at all, that's a night you definitely got to be at Anderson.
225 laps of feature races, too. That's on April the 25th. Then we have the CRA Sportsman and the CRA Street Stocks are going to be at the track 4 different times. We've also got the Payless Little 500 this year is going to be on May the 23rd. That will be the 67th.
67th
This will be the 68th year of the track.
Yes.
67th Payless Little 500. We have a big announcement we're going to probably be making next week after the PRI show, and I talked to some folks about the Payless Little 500. Already, Kroger is committed to bring Fan Fest down. This is the big fan experience that you see at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, at the NASCAR races.
Our midway is going to be full that week, really full.
And then later on in June, the highlight of that is probably June the 27th with the CRA Street Stock 200. That's
always a big show.
Always a big show. Then 4th of July this year is on a Saturday, so we've got figure eights again, the World Outlaw Figure Eight Series, and our figure eights and trailer races.
That'd be cool.
And a big, huge fireworks show. Then we get into to July, which is a big month.
Yes, it is.
And RJ, again, you can chime in anytime you want. It's usually this quietest I've heard when you got a microphone in front of you. On Friday night, July the 17th, we're bringing the JEGS All-Star Tour. That's probably not the whole title for that, is it?
The JEGS CRA All-Star Tour presented by Chevrolet Performance.
There you go. and a 100-lap feature, and we also have the CRA Sportsman cars there that night. for a points race for the CRA cars. And then on Saturday, July the 18th, the Stoops Freightliner Redbud 300.
Wow.
Probably one of the biggest late model weekends, because you're going to have late model Sportsman, you're going to have the Jegs cars and the Super Series. But that's 500 laps between those two divisions on a Friday and Saturday, and so it's just a killer weekend.
Every bit of 70, 80 cars back in the pits that weekend.
It'll be special.
And we were talking earlier this afternoon while you were down Pensacola. You've already had some teams talking about coming up to the Redbud.
Yeah, 2 or 3 teams out of the Carolinas, or cars out of one stable. Richie's Waters' car, his driver Dalton Sargent finished second in the Snowball Derby. And talking to him while I was down there, and he was talking about the races that they're going to come up from the Carolinas, and that was one of them. They're looking forward to the Redbud, and obviously a bunch of others. I would imagine Daniel Hemrick will be around to try and defend his title, and Johnny Van Dorn, and so many of the great names. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a few others from the past come out of the woodwork. Going to be a special show, more in the traditional part of the year that we're accustomed to. For the Redbud, so really looking forward to that on all accounts.
And I think, and I'll check on this, RJ, but I think going back to late model racing when it started, Anderson, back in the mid-'60s, I think this is the 49th running. This will be like the 49th running of this show. I know it's been a variety of a 400-lapper and 300-lapper, but it's been one every year.
Right,
since,
it's been either the 200, 300, or 400, some version of the main late model race of the year.
I'll check that and let you know, Rick, but I think it's 49th running of that.
Then the next weekend on July the 25th, and you have to tell me how many years this is, too, but the National Crown.
66th.
The 66th National Crown, the longest continuously run stock car race in the country.
Yes. July
the 25th, and this year we're kind of going retro. We're doing it with our Hearts Auto Service
You'll get it
figure
right.
8 cars
That's
this
right.
year. So that's something to mark on your calendar, and that'll be a big night. We'll have a big crowd that night. Then in August on the 15th, we've got the must-see racing wing sprint cars. This is a big 2-day weekend. It's our only Sunday show that I think we have all year. It's a 2-day weekend. We got the must-see racing wing sprints on Saturday night. Then we have the Vors Compact Challenge Series, not just their touring series, but their Challenge Series. They combine the North and their South divisions, come down for a 2-day weekend for a big show with big features and heat races on Saturday, and then a big feature on Sunday. And then also on that Sunday, August 16th, we have a special CRA Sportsman race.
Right. It's going to be a great weekend. I saw today the Vors Compact guys were talking about their double weekend racing, doing features on Saturday and Sunday, and then so we'll be there as well with the late model Sportsman.
That'll be good. That'll be a good weekend.
The weekend after that, we'll have a traditional race, the Fritz Memorial, with the legends. Then we get into September, and we have several. I mean, obviously, we're racing every Saturday. Our championship races are going to be a little different this year. On the 26th of September, we'll have the Figure Eights, the Pro Compacts, and Thunder Roasters in their season championships. And then a week later, we'll have our late models and our street stock season championship. So we're moving them a week later this year. It got done a little early last year, and that first weekend in October was a little iffy. I didn't really know what I was going to do. Then on October 10th, big night at the track, paint the night pink with the sprint cars again, Kenyon Midgets, Mini Cups, and we'll probably add something else to them. Night of Thrills will be on the 17th. Then on the 24th of October, we'll have our late models again in the Norwick Petroleum 100 and street stocks and pro compacts. That's our traditional
triple 100s.
Triple 100s. I don't know if they're all going to be hundreds this year, but I can guarantee you the late models are. And then Turkey Bash is on the 28th of November. We also, one thing I want to mention, another special late model race, and it is on, I got to find it here real quick. We're having the PGG 100 with the McGonigal engine late models on June the 20th. That's the week before the street.
And you did kind of tease the folks last week or a couple weeks ago about with Halloween falling on a Saturday the 31st that you might do something.
We got some stuff we're working on for Halloween, but that's a year away.
I know.
I skipped Labor Day. Labor Day weekend on Saturday is the Must-See Racing Wing Sprints 200.
Second annual.
The second one, and then we're going to add some things to that. That's still a work in process. There's still a couple of things we need to add, but this is pretty much yet. You can go to our website. It's on there now. I just sent this afternoon the division schedule, so all of our competitors know which nights are points races, how many laps, and which ones aren't point races,
Right.
but maybe their divisions are running. Real quickly, off the top of your head, RJ, before we go to break, what do you think about the schedule?
Oh, I'm pretty excited about it. You kind of alluded to this a little earlier, but talking about working with the different racetracks and the different promoters and stuff, and that's just better for our industry. And you've been a leader in that here recently, and I think it's made all of racing better. And I know everybody at CRA, but I know those racetracks as well appreciate the real effort to work together and the benefits that it gives to everybody.
There's not many tracks left, and the desire for racing is still out there,
It is.
very strong. And so we can't just sit on our laurels and just expect people to come in and do the same thing every week. So you got to mix together. And it's not, the industry's not like it was 10 years ago, especially in the short track. Well, it's definitely not in the big leagues either, but especially in short tracks, you got to keep up with the times and give the people what they want. And sometimes it's not always racing on an event either.
That's right.
So, and I didn't mention I am still working on a big wrestling match.
The second one?
Yeah.
Gary versus Kenny.
No.
That'd be pretty good. Kenny versus Phyllis.
Phyllis, that's
what we're working on.
That's the one we're working on.
We're going to step aside,
My vote's on Phyllis.
take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to RJ. He just got back from Pensacola, Florida, and the big Snowball Derby weekend. You're listening to Anderson Speedway's Track Talk. We'll be right back.
When I was a boy, we had family pitch-in dinners on Sunday, so I knew on Saturdays Mom would be in the kitchen baking pies, and especially sugar cream pies. I will never forget pulling a chair up to the table, always turn the chair around back so I could perch on my knees while watching Mom take her fingers and flute the pie crust. You know, that little squiggly thing all the way around. And of course, after the pies were baked, we would beg and plead with Mom, only to have her put her foot down and say, nope, we were not going to get any pie until everybody came by tomorrow. But on Sunday at the family gathering, that first bite of pie was always worth the wait. Mom's a little older now, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy freshly made sugar cream pies together. Now, instead of Mom making them, I pick up a Wix sugar cream pie. They use simple, fresh ingredients because of Wix rigid freshness standards. The wholesomeness and taste of their pies is better than Mom's. But don't tell her I said that. Now you can pick up a Wix sugar cream pie at most of your local grocery stores. Just look for them in the frozen dessert aisle. I'm Brownie, and I can honestly say about Wix pies, you don't just eat them, you enjoy them.
50 years ago, Tom Raper sold his first camper off a dirt lot in Richmond, Indiana. Since then, Tom Raper RVs has grown to be one of the largest RV dealers in America, selling the top brands at the best prices. That's why folks like you come from all over the Midwest to buy their recreational vehicles from Tom Raper RVs. Why, we reckon we've sold over 100,000 campers since we started. That's a lot of campers. That's a lot of fun. Tom Raper RVs in Richmond or online at tomraper.com.
This program is a presentation by Anderson Speedway. The content contained in this program is that of the host and guests, and not this station.
The Trogs.
No.
The Kinks. It's the Kinks. I just seen that on the Ed Sullivan show when they did the thing on PBS, the Kinks.
I think they
It's
got.
also-
I think they got two or three that they have a list of here before I
No,
get here.
he
Just-
didn't tell me that one,
Okay,
Gary.
He did not
okay.
tell
I got
him
that
that
one on
one.
my
All right, just
I got that one on my own. We're back, Anderson Speedway's Track Talk. Real quickly, don't forget, go to our website. All this information's on AndersonSpeedway.com. Like us on Facebook. If you liked us on Facebook, you were one of the first people to receive our schedule. And I talked to Amy this afternoon because I was talking to Jim Hanks up in Michigan this afternoon. I said, we're getting ready to, I just sent the schedule to the girls so that they could get it up on the website and everything. He said, well, your schedule's all over Twitter and Facebook. And I checked with Amy. She had put it up like at, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon, and within an hour we had 3,000 hits.
wow.
Which is amazing. I guess this new media just blows my mind. Don't forget, we've had folks in today. Our advanced purchase tickets are now on sale. 20 tickets for $140, that's only $7 a show, or 10 tickets for $80, that's only $8 a show. It's a heck of a deal. Stop by the track or give Jessica a call at the track, and we'll fix you up. They make great stocking stuffers, great gifts, or great presents for yourself. So
so those are good for most shows?
Any event except for the Red Bud and the Little 500.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
It's any of them. I mean, there's some of our shows that are more expensive than others, and they're good for those nights, too.
Wow. I can go to a $12 or $15 show for $7.
That's right.
Go buy your pack.
Very nice.
Yep. You just got back from Pensacola.
I did.
And I have not had the chance to go down there. I talked to Tim. I actually had plans earlier in the spring to go this year, and then we got a big wedding coming up Sunday, so that kind of precluded Saturday.
The Tim you're referring to is Tim Bryant, the owner of Five Flag Speedway, that hosts the Snowball Derby.
Great guy, a lot of fun to be around.
Absolutely.
And puts on one huge event.
That is a cool track.
They essentially put on the Little 500 of late model racing, whereas Anderson puts on the biggest pavement short track sprint car event. Well, Pensacola does the same for late models, and it's just absolutely amazing. I believe they had 74 JEGS series kinds of cars, pro late models, and 65 super late models. I mean, it's the perfect storm down there. It's the right time of year. Everybody's done. It's in Florida. The weather's a little better. It is a traveling destination. There's good things to do, and it's just got great history. And if you look at what the past winners have done, like Eric Jones and Johanna Long and Chase Elliott, and the same is going to be for this year's winner, John Hunter Nemechek, they've all gone on the years afterwards to essentially have major success at one of NASCAR's top 3 levels.
And that doesn't stop them because they come back. Chase Elliott's a good example.
Yes.
Nationwide champion and back at the
Absolutely.
Snowball. Eric Jones won it twice. You'd think that'd be enough, but it's not.
Right, and Eric, won Winchester 400s back-to-back. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll probably see him there.
As a full-time Camping World Truck Ride next year, and I think Warren told me he's going to be in like 20 nationwide races.
I've seen that there was a number of them, so he does a great job.
Huge event, and then they have 2 races down there. The Snowflake on Saturday night was won by one of my favorite drivers, although it was prolonged. I guess they didn't get, due to rain, they didn't get it started until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
3:15 a.m. they dropped the green
Sunday
flag.
morning.
Yeah, Sunday morning.
I got to feel like Tim was probably dragging come Sunday.
There was a number of officials that literally did not go to sleep. They just started right up the next day, took a shower, turned around, and came right back.
Wow.
But Bubba Pollard, one of my favorite drivers, a good guy. He's just always friendly, always supports us up here. And he won the Snowflake, and you alluded to John Hunter Nemechek, the son of Joe Nemechek, won the Snowball Derby.
Absolutely. Great show, and beautiful weather. Place absolutely packed. I know a number of people watched it on Speed 51 TV, which those of people that got to watch it, they can kind of give a little thanks to Rick Dawson, because Anderson Speedway was the first ever to do Speed 51 TV.
Residuals? Have we talked about residuals?
You got to remember it was new.
We got something else we want to talk about too, but we better say hi to Aunt Jenny.
Hi, Aunt Jenny. Hope you're doing well.
Because you seen her Thanksgiving?
Yes.
She's doing well.
Really
and
well.
Look forward to the holidays. Hi to Lauren and Brendan, Dan and Libby and Louie at my place. We talked about earlier, Lucas Oil Raceway is doing something a little different this year. Kind of explain to our listeners what's going on there.
Well, essentially they had 2 events that we helped them put on, the Fall Brawl and Cabin Fever, where Street Stocks and Sportsmen were there twice. And the new management team, led by Randy Simpson, have really wanted to try and go back and do more racing on the oval. And to his credit, he really put the effort together, and they're going to do 5 more events, 4 Friday nights and 1 Sunday afternoon at the end of the season. So they'll have 7 total events, and they will be doing a track championship for both street stocks, late model sportsmen, and compacts as well. So while a number of the events will be both CRA points and Lucas Oil Track points, they'll have some events that are just Lucas Oil Track points, and all of those will be listed on our schedule that will be going out either tomorrow or Thursday. Yes, the Street Stock and Sportsman schedule are going to be out about 3 weeks earlier than they normally are. We'll have them at the PRI show. Rick, what booth are we in?
1239.
Or is it 1329?
1329. You're in the ARCA booth.
Yeah, we'll be in the ARCA booth.
Same
Stop by
place you
and
were last year.
See,
He's an accountant.
come by and see me or Glenn or Greg or Eddie or any other people we have working the booth. We'll have schedules there and everything. But absolutely excited that Lucas Oil Raceway will be crowning track champions this year. There'll be 7 events total. I think 6 events will have street stocks and 6 events will have the late model sportsman. And awesome way to be recognized as a champion in Indianapolis. They'll have some awards and trophies and things like that, and obviously keep the point standings for the whole year. So they're starting out slowly, and they'll never be a weekly racetrack. They don't want to be, but they want to do solid special events, and there are a lot of people reached out to them. So we need to, as a community, go support those events, and it's only going to help all of us, because there's going to be some guys that are going to build race cars to race Indianapolis that we don't have now. Well, there's only going to be 6 times, so where are they going to go when they want to go race more? They're going to go to Anderson Speedway.
Hopefully this will help them develop a fan base out there, which has been very difficult on that oval track since NASCAR pulled the Busch race away from them, and it was the Busch race then, I believe.
Yeah.
That's been real hard to get a crowd in the oval track. Now the drag strip's a different story, but the oval track's tough, and hopefully they'll come up with some ideas that'll draw some fans and draw some interest. And all their races, none of their races conflict with Anderson Speedway. They're either on Friday night, and I think there's a couple. Well, you're two.
They don't even match up on weekends.
Right.
And it's not only that, or they're not racing the same night, but if the late models are racing at Indy, it's only because they're not racing that weekend at all at Anderson.
So the guys don't have to switch their cars over.
Right, night to night. So it matches up perfectly, and the whole thing kicks off Sunday, March 29th. That's Cabin Fever, and we'll be having all the divisions that we normally have, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
What else is going on in CRA land? We got about 2 minutes here.
PRI.
That's right.
Performance Racing Industry.
It's huge this weekend.
Starts on Thursday. We'll be in the ARCA booth. If you've never been, figure out how to get there. You'll be like a kid in a candy store if you're a racer.
Does not cost anything. You have to be associated in some form with racing and take some valid form of proof that you are in
with a race team.
Get a credential and go, and anybody in racing will be there. Any part manufacturer, engine builder, whatever, is going to be at PRI in Indianapolis this weekend at the convention center.
If you need something for your race car, if you think you need something for your race car, and it's not at this show, then you really didn't need it in the first place.
You're not going to get it. Well, I appreciate you traveling all the way in just to do our radio show tonight from Colorado.
I will send you the travel bill.
Actually, I appreciate you coming, and your wife's going to be here either Friday or Saturday, and flew in
looking forward to the wedding.
For Lauren's wedding, which is big this Saturday. My little girl, my only child, is going down the aisle.
It's going to be okay.
You think?
It's going to be okay.
So I haven't really thought about it until this week, and it's starting to get me. Don't forget the advanced ticket purchases. Give us a call at the track or stop by and see us. We would love to fill some stockings with some of those. That about does it for this week. We appreciate you spending the time with us. Hopefully I will survive the weekend and be back here same time, same station next week. For RJ Scott and Gary Mong, I'm Rick Dawson. Have a great week, and we'll see you down at the PRI show.